My friends, let's talk about something that touches all of us in different ways at some point in our lives. Disrespect is something we've all encountered in one form or another. Whether it's in the workplace, in our relationships, or even in fleeting moments on the street, disrespect shows up when we least expect it. But here's the thing, how we handle it is what really matters. And I want to share with you some smart ways to rise above it, to show up for yourself, and to live with grace and strength, even when others don't treat you with the respect you deserve. First and foremost, it all starts with you. You have to recognize your own worth, your own beauty, and the power that resides within you. You are valuable, you are enough, and you are deserving of kindness, respect, and understanding. When you embrace that truth deep in your bones, it becomes so much easier to set boundaries that protect your peace. When people show you disrespect, you won't internalize it. You'll simply recognize it for what it is, a reflection of them, not of you. Self-awareness and confidence are your first line of defense. Now, let's be clear, it's not about avoiding conflict at all costs. It's about choosing how you respond, not how you react. Too often when someone disrespects us, we react with anger, frustration, or even tears. But imagine how much more powerful you become when you take a moment to pause, breathe, and decide how you want to engage. When you choose your response with intention, you take back your power. You don't let the disrespect dictate your mood, your choices, or your behavior. I know it's not easy, but here's a secret: when people disrespect you, sometimes it's more about them than about you. Empathy, not anger, is the key. People who disrespect others are often struggling with their own insecurities, wounds, or fears. And while that doesn't make their behavior acceptable, it can help you shift your perspective. When you meet negativity with empathy, you free yourself from the weight of bitterness and resentment. But don't get me wrong, staying calm doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's a sign of incredible strength. Staying composed in the face of disrespect is one of the most powerful things you can do. You let others know that their attempts to shake you, to rattle you, to bring you down will not succeed. You stand tall, grounded, and unwavering in your sense of self. And if you must speak up, do it with clarity. Clear, respectful communication is a game changer. When someone disrespects you, let them know in the kindest yet firmest way that their behavior is unacceptable. You don't need to shout or argue. Your words, when spoken with conviction, can create an instant shift in the energy between you and the person who has wronged you. Finally, and this is so important, there are times when the best way to handle disrespect is to simply walk away. You don't need to engage in every battle. Some people may not be open to listening or understanding, and that's okay. When you sense that your peace is more valuable than the interaction, walk away. You don't owe anyone your time, your energy, or your mental health. Preserving your own peace should always be a priority. So, my friends, when disrespect comes knocking at your door, don't meet it with the same energy. Handle it with self-awareness, with confidence, and with the grace that only you can embody. Choose your response, meet negativity with empathy, stay calm, communicate clearly, and remember, sometimes walking away is the most powerful choice you can make. You are worthy of respect, always. And no one can take that from you unless you let T. Self-awareness and confidence are the foundation of how we navigate the world and how we allow others to treat us. When you know who you are, what you stand for, and what you are capable of, no one can diminish your value. Self-awareness means being in tune with your emotions, your strengths, your vulnerabilities, and understanding what makes you tick. It's about being honest with yourself, recognizing your flaws, and still embracing your uniqueness. When you're self-aware, you become less dependent on others for validation. You start to trust your own judgment, which means you can handle disrespect without internalizing it. Confidence doesn't mean arrogance or pretending to be perfect. It's about owning your value, acknowledging your worth, and standing tall in your truth, even when the world tries to tell you otherwise. When you carry yourself with confidence, you exude an energy that commands respect, not because you demand it, but because you show up with a quiet assurance in who you are. People sense that confidence, and it naturally discourages others from treating you poorly. You set boundaries effortlessly, knowing that you have the right to do so, and when someone crosses them, you are more likely to stand firm in your stance without hesitation. It's essential to recognize that self-awareness and confidence are not built overnight. They are cultivated through life experiences, through learning from mistakes, and through understanding that you are enough just as you are. When you know your worth, you stop allowing disrespect to define you. You stop questioning whether you deserve respect, and instead, you start setting the standard for how you expect to be treated. This doesn't mean others won't try to push those boundaries, but when you know who you are, their attempts at disrespect lose their power. It's not that it doesn't hurt, but rather that you don't let it shake your belief in yourself. The more grounded you are in your sense of self, the less room there is for the negativity of others to infiltrate your life. When faced with disrespect, it's easy to let emotions take the wheel. Anger, frustration, hurt, or confusion can rise up quickly, and it can feel almost automatic to react in the heat of the moment. But when you choose to react impulsively, you're letting the situation control you. Choosing your response, on the other hand, gives you back the power. It allows you to remain in control of how you engage instead of allowing someone else's actions to dictate your emotional state or behavior. This shift in mindset is transformative because it places the responsibility for how you feel and respond squarely on your shoulders. Taking a moment to pause before reacting can make all the difference. It gives you the space to process what's happening, reflect on the best course of action, and most importantly, decide how you want to show up in the situation. Rather than immediately giving in to anger or frustration, you can choose a response that is measured, calm, and clear. By doing this, you take back the power in the interaction, showing that your peace is more important than getting swept up in the emotions of the moment. Choosing your response also means not allowing someone else's disrespect to trigger a negative narrative in your mind. If you react from a place of hurt or anger, you may inadvertently reinforce a belief that you are unworthy of respect, or that disrespectful behavior has the power to break you. But when you respond consciously, you reinforce that you are not defined by others' actions. You recognize that how you handle the situation is what truly matters. Even if the other person is acting poorly, you maintain your integrity, showing that their behavior does not have the power to shake your sense of self. In the heat of the moment, it might feel like responding immediately is necessary. But by taking that brief pause, you're giving yourself time to align your reaction with your values. When you respond thoughtfully, you show respect for yourself and for the other person, and you open up the possibility of resolving the situation in a constructive way. Ultimately, choosing your response rather than reacting impulsively gives you the strength to maintain your boundaries, your dignity, and your peace. It's a reminder that you are not a victim of circumstances, but an active participant in how your life unfolds. When someone disrespects you, the natural inclination may be to respond with anger or frustration, especially if their words or actions have hurt you. It's a perfectly human reaction to want to defend yourself and stand your ground. But while anger can feel like a powerful and justified response, it often clouds your judgment and escalates the conflict rather than resolving it. When you choose empathy over anger, you are taking a step toward understanding the deeper layers of the situation, and in doing so, you are disarming negativity. Empathy allows you to see beyond the immediate disrespect and consider the reasons behind it. Often, when someone disrespects another, it has more to do with their own struggles, insecurities, or emotional pain than it does with you. People may lash out because of stress, frustration, or unresolved issues in their own lives. By practicing empathy, you can shift your perspective from taking the offense personally to understanding that the disrespect may be a reflection of their inner turmoil, not a judgment on your worth. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but it allows you to respond with a sense of compassion instead of reacting from a place of hurt. When you choose empathy, you protect yourself from the emotional spiral that can come from anger. Instead of getting caught up in the heat of the moment, you're able to maintain your composure and rise above the situation. This doesn't mean you allow yourself to be walked over or tolerate poor treatment. It means you approach the situation with a sense of grace and understanding while still asserting your boundaries. It's about responding with the awareness that the person disrespecting you may need help, guidance, or even just a moment of understanding to reflect on their actions. Responding with empathy also opens the door for healing and resolution. When you approach someone with empathy, you're more likely to create an opportunity for productive conversation rather than a battle of egos. Empathy allows you to engage in the situation with the intent to understand and resolve, rather than to retaliate. It doesn't mean suppressing your own feelings or letting disrespect slide, but rather responding with a sense of calm and compassion that can diffuse tension and lead to a more positive outcome. Choosing empathy over anger is not always easy, especially when you feel wronged. However, it is one of the most empowering ways to handle disrespect. It allows you to stand firm in your values and preserve your peace without giving in to the emotional pull of anger. By responding with empathy, you take the high road, keeping your integrity intact and showing the world that you are stronger than the negativity around you. Staying calm and collected in the face of disrespect is one of the most powerful tools you can have. When you remain composed, you are not only protecting your own peace, but you are also sending a strong message that you will not be rattled by others' negativity. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment when someone disrespects you, and it can feel like an immediate reaction is necessary to defend yourself. But reacting impulsively can often make things worse, fueling the fire of conflict. Instead, when you take a moment to pause, breathe, and stay grounded, you prevent the situation from controlling you. By staying calm, you maintain control over your emotions, which is critical in handling disrespect in a way that is both dignified and effective. When your emotions are allowed to take over, it's harder to think clearly or respond in a way that reflects your true values. But when you stay collected, you have the space to think strategically, to assess the situation with clarity, and to decide the best course of action without the pressure of immediate emotional response. It also means you won't say or do things you might later regret, which can help you preserve relationships and your own integrity. Remaining calm also prevents the disrespectful person from seeing that they've gotten under your skin. Often, people who disrespect others are seeking a reaction, whether that's anger, defensiveness, or hurt. When you stay calm, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you upset. Instead, you show that their attempt to provoke you is futile. You don't give away your peace or your energy, and that alone can be incredibly disarming. Your composed demeanor makes it clear that their disrespect does not affect you, and that you will not engage in a negative cycle of retaliation or defensiveness. In addition to protecting your own emotional state, staying calm can also have a positive effect on the other person involved. People who engage in disrespectful behavior may expect a heated reaction, but when they are met with composure and quiet strength, they often start to question their actions. They may begin to realize that their behavior was inappropriate or out of line, especially when they don't receive the emotional response they were hoping for. It can create an opening for more thoughtful dialogue where both parties can reflect on their actions and communicate more effectively. Staying calm is not about suppressing your feelings or pretending that the disrespect doesn't hurt. It's about creating a space where you can process your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. It's about recognizing that you are in control of how you respond and that your peace is worth more than engaging in a heated exchange. By staying collected, you remain aligned with your values and the kind of person you want to be, even in challenging moments. In the end, it's your inner strength and calm demeanor that will leave the lasting impression, not the disrespect you faced. Clear communication is one of the most effective tools in navigating disrespect because it allows you to assert your boundaries and express your feelings without resorting to anger or confusion. When faced with disrespect, it can be tempting to shut down, retreat, or respond in a passive-aggressive way. But clear and direct communication is the most powerful way to address the situation head-on. By speaking with clarity, you take control of the narrative and ensure that your voice is heard without ambiguity or misunderstanding. Clear communication means being honest about how you feel and what you need without over-explaining or minimizing your experience. It involves expressing your thoughts in a way that is respectful but firm, stating your feelings with confidence and without hesitation. For example, rather than saying something like, "I don't appreciate how you're acting," which might sound weak or uncertain, you might say, "When you speak to me in that way, it feels disrespectful and hurtful. and I don't accept that treatment. This kind of directness ensures there is no confusion about what you're communicating and sets a clear expectation for how you wish to be treated moving forward. Additionally, clear communication is not just about speaking up for yourself, but also about listening. It's important to hear the other person's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Sometimes disrespect stems from misunderstandings or miscommunications, and by listening carefully, you create space for a productive conversation. When you respond with clarity, it becomes easier to break through any defensive walls the other person may have built. Instead of engaging in a battle of egos, you engage in a dialogue where both parties feel heard and understood, and ideally where the situation can be resolved in a respectful way. When you communicate clearly, you also set the tone for future interactions. You are establishing a pattern of how you want to be treated, and by addressing disrespect directly, you are reinforcing your boundaries. It shows that you are not willing to tolerate behavior that undermines your dignity, and that you expect to be treated with kindness and respect. Clear communication also demonstrates that you are in control of the situation, rather than being a passive participant in how others treat you. You take ownership of your feelings and actions, creating an environment where open, honest communication can flourish. Moreover, clear communication allows you to move forward with peace of mind. When you express yourself clearly, you don't carry the weight of unspoken resentment or confusion. You give the other person the opportunity to reflect on their behavior and make adjustments if necessary. If the conversation doesn't lead to immediate resolution, you still have the satisfaction of knowing that you stood up for yourself in a respectful and assertive way. It takes courage to speak up, but it's that very courage that helps you navigate challenging situations and emerge stronger with your integrity intact. In the end, clear communication is about being authentic, direct, and respectful, both toward yourself and others. It empowers you to handle disrespect not by avoiding confrontation, but by facing it with a calm, measured, and clear response. It's a way of showing the world that you value yourself enough to speak up and that you expect the same clarity and respect in return. Knowing when to walk away from a situation where you are being disrespected is a vital skill that allows you to preserve your peace and dignity. While it's important to assert yourself and stand your ground, there are times when engaging further will only escalate the conflict, leaving you drained, frustrated, and possibly more hurt than when you started. Walking away doesn't mean you are weak or avoiding the problem. It means you are choosing to protect your emotional well-being, and you are confident enough to disengage from an unhealthy or unproductive interaction. Walking away involves recognizing when the situation is no longer worth your time, energy, or emotional investment. When you sense that the other person is not receptive to your communication, that they are not interested in resolving the issue, or that they are not willing to acknowledge their disrespectful behavior, it's often best to remove yourself from the conversation. By doing so, you send a clear message that you won't engage in negativity or tolerate behavior that doesn't align with your values. This decision is not always easy, but it is a conscious choice to stop giving power to the disrespect and to regain control over the situation. There are also times when the environment itself is not conducive to resolution. Whether it's a heated argument where both sides are emotional or a toxic setting where constant disrespect is the norm, walking away allows you to reset. It gives you the opportunity to gain perspective, to calm down, and to decide whether it's worth re-engaging at a later time when both parties are in a better headspace. In these moments, walking away is a form of self-care. It prevents you from saying things in anger or frustration that could later damage relationships or your own peace of mind. Choosing to walk away doesn't mean you're avoiding conflict or ignoring the issue at hand. It's about knowing that you are not obligated to engage in every battle. Not every conflict is worth fighting, and sometimes the best course of action is to preserve your energy for situations where it can make a positive difference. By walking away, you make a choice to protect your emotional health, giving yourself the time and space you need to process the situation and decide on the best way forward. The power of walking away also lies in the fact that it allows you to reclaim your peace. Too often, we stay in situations where we feel disrespected because we think we have to fight for our dignity or prove a point. But your peace of mind is far more valuable than being right in a moment of conflict. When you walk away, you are taking control of the situation and signaling that your emotional well-being comes first. You are choosing to disengage from the negativity and to step into a space where you can focus on what truly matters, your own sense of calm and inner strength. Knowing when to walk away is about setting boundaries and honoring your worth. It's about realizing that you have the power to protect your peace, and that sometimes the smartest way to handle disrespect is to simply remove yourself from the situation. Walking away doesn't make you a quitter, it makes you someone who knows their worth and chooses to walk toward peace rather than toward further conflict. In conclusion, handling disrespect with grace and strength is not about allowing others to walk all over you or suppressing your emotions. It's about choosing to rise above the negativity and responding in a way that reflects your true worth. When you practice self-awareness and confidence, you recognize your value and set boundaries that protect your peace. When you choose your response instead of reacting impulsively, you take control of the situation, allowing yourself to remain calm and collected. Responding with empathy rather than anger helps you approach others with compassion, creating space for understanding rather than escalating conflict. Clear communication empowers you to assert your needs directly, while knowing when to walk away ensures that you preserve your energy for the moments that truly matter. At the end of the day, how you handle disrespect reflects your strength, your character, and your ability to maintain your dignity in the face of adversity. Remember, you are worthy of respect, and no one can take that from you unless you allow it. When you choose to walk in your power, to stand firm in your boundaries, and to treat yourself with the kindness and understanding that you deserve, you will navigate disrespect not with fear or anger, but with the confidence that you are always in control of how you respond. You are the author of your own story, and nothing or no one can take away the peace and self-respect that are rightfully yours.